So if you're the kind of person who likes to check in on their pension investments on a daily basis, a bit like I do, then A, stop it. It's not healthy. But B, one of the biggest threats to us is loss aversion. And it's not been a great week. If you have been checking your investments this week, I'll put a chart up here which shows some of the main indices. So if you're based in the UK and you've got pension invested, these indices will be affecting you. And look, we've got the FTSE 250, the World Index, and the S&P 500. The vast majority of us will be heavily invested in at least one, if not all, of these different indices. It's not been a great week. So why am I talking about loss aversion? Well, I'll give you an example of what loss aversion is. If I said to you now, we'll flip a coin, it hits heads, you've got to give me £50. How much would you need to join in that gamble? Now, on average, when this test has been done in real life with real people, the answer is usually somewhere between £100 and £125 to just join in the gamble. So as you can see, people really do not like to lose money. And what this means in real life is if we start to see an indices dropping, we might panic a little bit, go wide-eyed, and then all of a sudden we've like reaching for the sell button. The worst thing you can do when an index is on its way down, like it is this week, is to panic and start selling. Because what you've basically done is you've locked in them losses that you've spotted on the chart. And conversely, what we also do is we have a really great week. We look and the indices are right up there and we think, oh my God, I'm going to take my wins now in case I lose them. Where in reality, they may still continue to go up. There's nothing to say they're going to drop again. So they're the two things that we are, as investors, are prone to do. And that's why when you look at some of the stats out there, about 98% of amateur investors do worse than the normal indices. And that's because we do fiddle. So if you can avoid the temptation to fiddle with your stocks at this point, then it's generally a good thing. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your portfolios. If you're going to sell something today, sell something. If you're going to buy something today, buy something. I'm not here in any kind of capacity as a financial advisor. I'm just really want to talk about that human nature thing about loss aversion and make sure that you are aware of it and if it is influencing the decisions you're making around your pensions. Now, something else that's going on today, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's across the pond there in America, there's an election on. I think that is driving some of the nervousness in the market, and we'll see what happens. Whoever wins, whether it's Kamala or Trump wins over the next few days or weeks, because sometimes it does take a while for them results to come in. We'll see how the markets react. But for me, I'm not going to be making any moves. I'm not going to be selling a whole host of shares. I'm not going to be investing in different indices, taking my money out of one and putting it in another. I'm going to be sitting and riding it through because as far as I'm concerned, I have this money invested for at least 5 years before I start to draw on it. So for me, it's staying put and it's not getting moved around. What are your thoughts on the election anyway? Do you think that we will see the markets move up or down once the election's done? And if either candidate wins, are we in a better position? Love to hear what your thoughts are. My kind of thoughts today have been that, I'm really not keen on Trump running another term. However, I do think if he does, he's going to spend the first few months getting out of all his legal troubles, making sure he's not going to go to prison, making sure that he doesn't lose too much money out of them court cases, punishing a few of the people he doesn't like. Once he's got that done, he'll be up on the golf course and won't be doing much at all, really. Having said that, I think the world will be a much better place for me if Kamala does win over the next few weeks. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting either way. So whilst on holiday a couple of weeks ago in Malta, I decided to put a couple of videos up that were kind of auto-generated by Google, and they were based on some of the blogs I'd written, some of the videos I'd done. And what I've decided to do is not put them on this channel anymore. I've created a different channel called Time to Retire Podcasts. I'll put a link to that down in the description below. So if you are someone who wants to get a bit more detail on what I've been talking about, a bit of a deep dive into some of the subjects, then join that channel as well and have a little listen. But if not, you can continue to listen to me in person on here. This chart shows that for the same loss and gain, we have very different opinions on people's perception of value. With 18% increase in value for the gain, but a 40% loss in value for the same loss. Some people says this goes back to primitive times when finding some extra food or resources could result in some kind of a celebration or party, whereas losing the same amount of resources could lead to famine and death. So quite a difference between the two events. If there is a message out of this, it is to at least be aware that loss aversion is a thing that impacts us as human beings, and check your own thinking before you make any rash decisions. See you on the next one.